Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Some Cards and Coffee. Dude, I hope you guys had a good New Year's. 2020 was crazy intense for a lot of people. But I have to say, one of my favorite things is I'm especially proud of like two women that I was working with about 2-3 years ago when I first started the Silver Cord was the first time they came to me for readings, right? And now I do a lot of return people readings, right? I'm not a one and done tarot reader. I'm not just going to give you a timeline and then go, I'm not going to help you through any of this or anything else like that. A lot of times, if I have the time and I'm not fully booked, even after a reading, I will sit there and continue to talk to people. And they were like, oh my God, the reading went over. And I'm like, no, I stopped reading cards 30 minutes ago when your time was up. Since then, we've just been having a conversation. But yes, I don't know. There's always new people in here. So 2-3 years ago, I'll call her my friend now. My friend's husband was divorcing her so that he could date this little Filipino girl who lives in the Philippines. I've mentioned this before, right? So, at first, she wanted magic spells. She wanted to do a sweet jar. She wanted to do some sort of binding. She wanted to do something to bring him back to me. Bring him back to me. How do I get him to love me again? And I was just pretty much there for her to vent to for a while. And we, instead of focusing on the sweet jars and things like that, we focused on, abundance and luck to get her through her court proceedings because he was determined to divorce her. So we focused on, excuse me, we focused on that, right? And then we did some cord cuttings, things like that, and things after, took him to the cleaners in court. Wasn't that hard considering he was leaving her for the Filipino girl. She even at one point, in an attempt to save her marriage, allowed him to spend their savings to go to the Philippines and meet this girl to see if it was his twin flame. That's what they were preaching. That's what they were Christian twin flames. Meant divine by Jesus to be together. And, yeah, she did all of that, and then she ended up going to court. She took him to the cleaners at court. She got her alimony. She got all her child support automatically deducted from his stuff, all that, right? He moved out. He had to get a shitty little apartment because he pays alimony and child support. He couldn't go to the Philippines. Him and the Filipino girl were dating on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off, and then she finally left him for another dude who had more money. Big shock, right? Fast forward, she got engaged this weekend. Congratulations to Miss M if she watches these. I don't know if she does that. But yeah, she got engaged this weekend. I was so excited for her. It's like, and I said that too. I've told her story before because I love the dude that she's dating, man. She's constantly posting about all these pictures with them and everything else. They're so silly. I love it. They have so much fun together. But, yeah. As soon as she let go of wanting to salvage an old timeline, the timeline with her husband, she opened herself up to new love. And yeah, now she's super duper happy. Another woman that I've been working with for a few years now. When I first met her, her husband was in stage 5 pancreatic cancer. And we've done readings and works and things like that together, and she's in the Silver Cord, and we've worked together, and I coached and counseled her through the end of his life. through the transitions after he died. And in 2020, she sold her house and made a big move. Very, very proud of her as well. I mean, everybody talks about how disastrous 2020 was for everybody. You know, one woman, she attributes the Love's Guiding Light spell to getting pregnant in 2019. But 2020 for her, she had a baby in like February, and she was forced to stay locked in the house with her baby all year. I was like, you know, so it's all perspective, people. Everybody's like, you know, they want you to believe this end of the world doom and gloom shit. I got a text message this morning from some rando talking about, oh, 75% of the population is going to be wiped out and it's going to be bad over the next 5. Enjoy your timeline, dude. Just be a normal doomsday prepper like everybody else. I usually drink straight soda, but I needed something cold and I needed caffeine this morning. You know, it's really cocky, I think, to just assume the world's going to end during your generation. The most important events in life are going to happen while you're alive. Look through history. It's just like, it's like crackpot religious people. It's like what you just march into. They creating their own prophecy. Oh, the world's going to end. We're not going to do anything to stop global warming and tearing it apart and everything else and blah, 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 blah. You know, we're just going to go, oh, it was divine. Divine said it was going to be destroyed. No, you guys are destroying yourselves. It's not a prophecy if you're forcing it to happen. What do we got here? All right, so we got the Eight of Pentacles. I know this is about education, but in this deck, it's like how she's learning from her past pain, learning to let go, right? She's on a cemetery hugging an angel statue. Letting go of past pain, letting go of things that have died, passed on. Seeing things from a new spiritual perspective through their loss. Let's see, this card is seeing where you have been the manipulator in your situations. You know, where everybody's always so quick to point at everybody else. Everybody else was playing me. I was just reacting. Were you just reacting? What part of the game was you? What part of the game was you? What part of the game was them? You know? Perhaps that's why it failed. Perhaps that's why it didn't make it. That's why it died. So this could also be, you know, that residual want to continue playing the game. Just out of boredom, usually. But right here in the middle here, it's like, yeah, it's time to get moving on, though, right? Time to get moving on. This was all just a rite of passage. It's okay to look back, but don't dwell in it. Don't live in it. Don't renew that, right? Now we got, I love him in this deck, right? Charismatic, charming, manifesting energy, right? Lust, adventure. When you can move on from the past, you can find the excitement in the future again. The unlimited possibilities. I mean, I made the meme so long ago too. And it was the day I thought I lost everything was the day I was actually set free. Just endless possibilities. Whenever a cycle ends, that's my favorite part, is the openness to all the possibilities. Once you let it go. Once you let go of this horrid person that you've been holding on to in your mind. Because it turns out, like I said with Miss Sam, it turns out that her husband was a horrible, horrible, nasty, gnarly, freaking narcissist. who was pretty much psychologically gaslighting and abusing her their whole marriage. You know, once she released him, it opened up the possibilities. What? All right, my husband is not my twin flame. He's not my whatever. He's not this. He's none of that. So I'm open to possibilities now. Endless possibilities. Right? 40. Defending your valor. Yes, knowing your worth. I feel like a lot of people feel kind of isolated. You got the Eight of Cups in the middle again, too. Like I said, in this deck, he's taking a long walk off a short pier, or he's got to turn around and come back to his cups again. Right? So there is still processes in it. You never fully, whenever you look back on a past painful situation, and you can't just never do it. You know, when you're healing those kind of wounds, you can't just wrap it up. You know, it's like a cut on your arm. And you just, oh, it's so gnarly, it's whatever. You were outside doing something and you cut your arm. And then you just wrapped it up with the bandage and never thought about it again. Now it's infected. And the bandages are all stuck to it. And you didn't go home and clean it right away. And now it's been days and it's gnarly, right? And now you've got to go and remove the bandages. And you've got to clean out all the infection. And you got to cut back all the dead skin. And you got to make it bleed again now. Because you did not take care of it when it first happened. So now it's all cleaned up and everything else and fresh. And you put fresh bandages on it. You're still not done. You still have to continuously go back, peel the bandages off, clean it. It's alcohol and all that stings, but you got to do it. Clean it, wipe it up, rewrap it. Come back again, take it off. And every time you take it off, it's healed a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then one day you come and you take the bandages off and it's nothing but a scar. And scars are perfectly fine. That's one of my favorite song quotes. Scars remind us that the past was real. Okay? And then once you do all of that, comes right in. Comes right in. Right? Healing ain't pretty. That's why I like to use the medical things. My sister's in school to be a nurse. They wanted me to do that stuff. I was like, I can't. No, I can't deal with bodily fluids and sick people at hospitals. I can't do it. Love my sister to death. She's a healer in her own right. She just does it that way. All right, for the 5D, I see we're finally all getting over that energy. Awesome, right? Justice has been served in a lot of situations. Money is still a big worry for everybody right now. Right? You know what this, actually these two cards right next to each other, right? This is usually like the generosity card. This is like, I'm worried about money. And this is the government going, will $600 help? And you're like, no, not really. No, not really. I mean, I'll take the 600, but it wasn't too terribly freaking generous of you guys. Still got plenty of time for this, all right? Welcome to the Aquarian age, right? A lot of sitting with yourself, a lot of asking those hard questions, a lot of still working on that, all right? Do your healing work. You don't have to tell nobody about it. If you do want to talk to me, you guys know how to get a hold of me. If you found this channel, then you know about my other channels. And, yeah, if not, drop it in the comments. Put your email down there. I'll email you. But, sometimes that helps. I find that that's one of the most important parts of my job is just listening to everybody else's crazy. Because if anybody understands what it's like to be completely out of your mind, it's me. All right. I love you guys. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. I love y'all. I'm back as soon as I can.